Okay. Hello everyone, Michael here, and we're playing Pokemon Sleep. Uh, yeah. So recently I went ahead and started this alternate account, kind of inspired by Velociraptor 22's Sleep Sleeper series, where he takes the worst half of the Pokemon in the game and tries to push them as far as he can. And I believe one of Iba and Brown's videos where he talks about different challenge runs you can try. I went ahead and started this series that I'll be calling the Nursery series. And for this series, we have May rule. That rule being we can only use Pokemon who can still evolve, so non-fully evolved Pokemon. So as you can kind of see here on the team, we have Houndour, Squirtle, Pikachu, Pichu, and Charmander. And the one thing these guys all have in common is that they can still evolve. You can probably tell they look pretty tired as well. That's because we don't have a healer. And given that in this series we cannot evolve Pokemon, it'll be probably a while before we have a decent healer, as we will not be able to use something like Gardevoir or Palmo. I think Curlia will be the best healer we have access to, and it's a while before we get to Lapis. But kind of introducing you to who we have so far, I went ahead and started this, I want to say last Wednesday, Thursday. So here's the starting team. Here is our starter Pikachu, Chucky Finster, Mono Apple, awesome. Full disclosure, I did reset a few times in order to get this BFS Pikachu, as that'll speed up our progress on this account for, by several weeks probably. And the main goal of this series will just be to reach M20 on Greengrass Isle, but given that it took me probably a year or so to do that on my main account, this account being free to play, it'll probably be a while before we're able to reach that with this team. But yeah, this is Chucky Finster. Not great other stats, but BFS at this point is still amazing. We have Tommy P, Tommy Pickles, our Squirtle. He is ABB. If you didn't know, so once you start the game, it prompts you to do your first sleep session. You can actually just go ahead and skip that, and it will generate a session for you to give you 5 free Pokemon. I went ahead and chose Slumbering to try and get a decent milk option, because milk is going to be good throughout the entire course of this game. Instead, we ended up with this ABB Squirtle. He is not great. Ingredient finding is kind of locked to 75, so he'll probably just be useful until we get better milk options. Along with our starters, we get Angelica. Angelica Pickles is our Geodude. ABC, not great. Has ingredient finding up nature though, so it'll be okay for beans for the foreseeable future. Heck, we might even take it to a Graveler to 25, or maybe 30, just to get access to some potatoes. But at this point in the game, there are plenty of potato options, so maybe that won't be necessary. We have Phil and Lil. Phil is our Pichu, ABB, with early helping bonus. Kind of using the candy boost from last week, even with the few candies I did have. Just with the couple Dream Shards I also had, I was able to push a couple of these guys to level 10, meaning they got their first skills. And things like helping bonus and berry finding S at 10, amazing. Lil's our Igglybuff here, AAC I believe. Not amazing. Skill triggers are way later. Helping speed level 10, but being as slow as it is at almost an hour and a half, it's not going to be very useful as a healer. So we're probably just going to forego Lillian here. Continuing on, second day of play, they're forced you to use a Master Ball. So I kind of grimaced a bit when I had to catch this Houndour. But it had helping bonus at 10, and last week our main berry was the Stark Berry. This is Colbur Berry, I believe. So with helping bonus and speed of help up, it's better than a lot of other options we have at this point in the game. So this is Spike. And then it being Noibat week, there were a few Noibats. I went ahead and tried to catch one, but given that we're free to play here, skill trigger and helping speed of help up is not enough to even consider using as just a Noibat. So he will probably get boxed at some point. We have Reptar here. Reptar is a Charmander we caught, I believe, on that same day. Yeah, on the 27th. It has BFS at 10. So, at that point, that's really good. No issues there. AAB as well. Krogan here has ingredient finding at 10, but has a bad nature. So, probably we just take this guy to 10 just to give access to some early oil, since the ingredient finding M is technically a net positive. But given with just that, it's not enough to justify like using for any like long term at all. Moving on, we got this Trico here. It does have double trigger, but given the best we can do is getting it up to a Grovyle, BFS is still going to be way better on this, but probably not as good as Sceptile, because Sceptile benefits from it being so fast. So I might have to run the numbers to see how many triggers do I need to break even with the BFS, and vice versa. Maybe the numbers might be similar to Sceptile, perhaps they might be different. Went ahead and caught the Sculpin. For the scope of this account, I don't know if a Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon would be useful, given that the best option we have is Gulpin, since Sableye, Lucario, Swallow are all banned. With just one skill trigger and one helping speed, it's not going to be good enough to invest at any points. Larvitar here, AAB, no ingredient finding, but it does have speed of help up. Perhaps we can use it for some early Ginger, but likely look at better options before we need the Ginger. And then I believe this was this morning, we caught another Pichu with lots of free main skill levels, but quite slow. It's a Pichu. As you know, berry specialist, so not going to be super useful or impactful. Looking at some theories, I figured in this account probably ingredient finders might be our best bet, because second stage ingredient finders like Wartortle, Ivysaur, Charmeleon can still bring in a decent amount of ingredients at level 30 and 60, even without being fully evolved. So I figure we might end up leaning on heavy cooking strategies in the future, given that berry specialists and skill specialists on this account are not going to be so fast that their trigger rates are going to be much worse than their fully evolved forms. With the exception of maybe a few of them based on if their 2,000 hour ribbon might be able to overcome some of the speed penalties they have. So, for example, something like Chansey, Onyx, or Vigoroth. But I'll probably run the numbers on that in a different video. Today I just wanted to introduce you guys to everyone. We're currently sitting at Grade 4 with about 15% area bonus. So we might be able to make it to... today's Tuesday. Honestly, we can probably make it to like Ultra 5, Master 1, I think, if we're already at 60,000 on the second day of the week. Before I end this video, my question for you is actually though, how should I treat Pokemon that evolve in the scope of Pokemon, but don't evolve in this game? For example, that would include Primeape and the Holiday Special Pokemon, Pikachu, Eevee, and Spheal. I can kind of see an argument either way, where like, oh, they don't evolve in this game, so they're functionally fully evolved Pokemon. Or that they do evolve ultimately in the game, they just have a special aspect to them, so that's why they can evolve with the holiday Pokemon, like Spheal, Pikachu. I think the devs tried to make an effort to try and balance their stats with their fully evolved forms, but even then, they're not really close to like how good a Raichu is or a Walrein. Or, like I guess for Eevee's case, a Vaporeon. So please let me know in the comments if you think I should go ahead and allow those Pokemon since they are not fully evolved Pokemon, or vice versa. With that, thank you guys for watching. I hope to try and put out videos weekly, kind of see the progress in this video. And if and when we do reach Master 20, it'll be a celebratory moment for the Nursery team. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Hope to see you next time. See ya.